There are stories that seem straight out of a movie, yet they are real. Stories about impossible bonds, gratitude, and a love that transcends time and barriers between species. This is the story of James and Luna, the story of a man. And a lioness ... It all began 5 years ago in one of the most wild and fascinating regions of Africa, in the heart of Botswana. James was a young British biologist, 28 years old, with a dream to protect wild animals and study them in their natural environment. He worked in a wildlife reserve, far from everything, surrounded only by sand, trees, and the roar of lions. It was a morning like any other. The sun was slowly rising, painting the sky in orange and red. James had woken up early for a patrol, along with 2 local rangers. As they crossed a particularly arid area, James noticed something among the bushes. A faint movement, almost imperceptible. As he approached, he saw a heartbreaking sight. A young lioness, visibly hungry and dehydrated. The animal was clearly exhausted, her eyes filled with pain and fear, but also a strange form of trust. James didn't hesitate for a second. With the help of his colleagues, he calmed the lioness and took her to the reserve's veterinary center. James named her Luna because of the crescent-shaped scar on her forehead. During her recovery, James took care of her every day. He talked to her, brought her food, and watched as she regained her strength. And something incredible happened. Luna began to trust him. When she saw him, she would get up and approach. She would lie next to him. She stared at him with her large golden eyes, as if she understood every word. After months of care, Luna was finally ready to return to the wild. On that day, James took her to the savannah and opened the gate. Luna stopped, looked at him one last time, then disappeared into the tall grass. James stayed in Africa for a few more months before returning to England. But he never forgot Luna. From time to time, he would look at the old photos. He wondered if she was still alive, if she remembered him, if she had forgotten him, as often happens between man and nature. 5 long years passed. In the meantime, James changed jobs, moved to a new city, and started a family. But deep inside, he felt that part of his life had stayed back there, in that African reserve. So, in the summer of 2024, he decided to return. A trip that was meant to be nostalgic, but would turn into something much greater. As soon as he arrived, everything felt familiar. The smells, the sounds, the oppressive heat. Yet, something had changed. Many of the animals he knew were no longer there. Some had died, others had moved away. Nature, after all, never stops. One afternoon, James decided to walk alone toward the area where he had found Luna years before. He walked slowly, looking at the ground, listening to every sound. Then, suddenly, silence, a rustling, a faint sound behind him. James slowly turned around, and there she was. An imposing, beautiful lioness was watching him from a few meters away. She had the same deep gaze, and on her forehead, a crescent-shaped scar. James's heart stopped. "Luna," he whispered, almost breathlessly. The lioness approached, step by step. Her body was tense, but not threatening. And then the impossible happened. She stopped in front of him, lowered her head, and gently rubbed it against James's chest. It was her. It was really her. There was no doubt. It wasn't a random gesture. Luna remembered him. After 5 years, after 1,000 sunrises and 1,000 sunsets, after hundreds of kilometers covered in the savannah, she remembered him as if it were yesterday. James knelt down. He spoke to her, just like before. He stroked her head, her back, her legs, and she let him, docile, happy. Two different worlds that had met once again, against all odds. The reserve staff who had arrived in the meantime were speechless. No one had ever seen anything like this. A wild, free lioness behaving like a puppy in front of a man. James spent almost 2 hours with Luna. Then, as she had come, she turned and walked away into the savannah, but not before looking at him one last time. That gaze said everything. Thank you. Goodbye. I will never forget you. And perhaps none of us should forget that animals are not just instinctive creatures. They have memory, emotions, hearts that know how to recognize good, even after years. This is the story of Luna and of James, two souls far apart, forever united by a courageous gesture and by a love that goes beyond words.